over the season. They weren't looking as strong sort of very, very early on. It was sort of all around the rest of the players here at Vici Gaming, but they most certainly stepped up, and we'll see whether they're going to continue on sort of keeping the form up and whether Endless is going to be able to give them a little bit more of a boost to that position, but hasn't been tested as of yet, and we'll see how he does.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he goes in his first game. And you said it, Carry and Hetong stepped up massively the second half of this season. They really came into their stride, and we've even seen Carry play a couple Riven games. He is that solo queue Riven main that sometimes likes to pull it out, but not always, and we'll rather stick to the Rumble and the Gnar. Fantastic Rumble and Gnar player. Yeah,
and I find it interesting the fact that we've got sort of the Riven players back-to-back here. Of course, TBQ and Godvir also both tried their hand at that champion, but you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are into champion select, and Nidalee going to be banned away from Dandy. Of course, he played a heck of a lot of it, but may not necessarily be prioritizing it on this patch. LeBlanc, very standard, going to be banned away, and Jiang going to take off Hecarim. Doesn't want to be against Carry's Hecarim at all, and we'll see whether the Gnar is going to hit the bench as well.
Yeah, so they are prioritizing a lot of the old bans from the last split. The Nidalee, a lot of Nidalee has been played. The LeBlanc, again, good ban. A lot of LeBlanc has been played by Coolin. All of the bans so far, quite standard, but definitely targeted bans. There's no real jungle bans so far, as we mentioned.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, and when you've got Dandy, who's massive in the jungle here, he's just got a gigantic champion pool, so he's so difficult to remove from contention. But OMG, they're going to do the best that they can, taking away Nidalee and the Rek'Sai now as well. There's Vici now looking to answer with the final ban, and OMG sort of licking their lips as far as what they can pick up here. Gragas is going to be a huge one. Sejuani is there as well, but we haven't seen her really prioritized as much by our LPL teams thus far today. And Lucian going to be taken away from Uzi, so definitely was a champion he was favoring towards the end of the split, but it's interesting to see it on the ban list.
And not only that, there is the Kalista ban as well, which has been quite commonly banned against Uzi. So that is now two targeted bans taken away from the AD carry of OMG. Doesn't leave a lot of options left, and Gragas, the very likely first pick here.
Oh, most definitely. Carry, though, insta-locks the Gnar, and Dandy going to take away the Cassiopeia here for Hetong, so already a devastating teamfight comp, and Vici knowing exactly what they want.
You said it. They know exactly what they want to do. No hesitation, locks in straight away. They're going to have the Gnar top and the Cassiopeia in the mid lane. We have seen a lot of Cassiopeia played.
Yeah.
And the response seems to be a Sivir.
Yeah, Sivir going to be locked in straight away. In fact, interestingly enough, one of Uzi's most successful champions. Of course, Sivir known for being a lot more of a utility AD carry, and Uzi known for carrying his team, but Sivir has been where he's seen the most success.
Also his most played while we're talking about the Sivir, and considering that they have the Kalista and the Lucian banned away from him, I'm not surprised that he goes for the Sivir next. It is his most played, and he does do extremely well on it. But you said it's not the play style that you expect from him. Works with the rest of his team perfectly, though. You've got the ult to enable things for the rest of your team to go in.
Yeah, and Dandy looking at a Nunu. It is going to be locked in here. And Dandy, the sort of king of jungle control, now on the champion, which is arguably the king of jungle control. And Mata is on his quintessential Janna pick here as well. I mean, if you're talking about comfort picks, it's Nunu and Janna for these Korean players.
Yeah, and you said it, the king of control. That is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And all of the laners that they picked right now, the Cassiopeia and the Gnar, complement the Nunu perfectly. The AD carry that they're going to have to pick here as their last response will have to be something that can control the bot lane. Or they could go for a Vayne.
My goodness. Wow, it's going to be locked in. Endless is, in his first game in the LPL, picks Vayne into Uzi.
He does not care at all, does he?
No.
No respect. Straight for the Vayne. Instantly locks that in. They have a really strong team comp.
That gauntlet has been thrown. You can see there's a smile on Uzi's face. You barely ever see a smile on Uzi's face. But he's more than happy to go into this one.
A sign of respect almost, or is it a sign of disrespect from Uzi?
I'm not sure. I think he's as baffled as we are. Yeah, not entirely sure. But man, I'm excited to see how this one works out, as we are going to go over these lineups. The standard top lane matchup of Gnar into the Maokai, as Jiang is going to pick that one up. Of course, we'll see how Jiang does moving over to that role as Juju here against Dandy. Another sort of standard one, but we'll see how Dandy goes on this Nunu moving into this game. Cool against Hetong, the Cassiopeia versus Azir matchup. You think about the likes of EasyHoon when you mention these champions, and we'll see how it works in this game as Uzi versus Endless here. And this matchup is going to be frightening, and that's the Uzi we were expecting. The incredibly angry severely serious guy, not the one giggling at the desk before.
Not the smiling as you'd think. And the Vayne being picked against him here shows that there's going to be a lot of aggression in the bot lane. The Sivir wants to push that Vayne in, but will it happen? Yeah,
well, we'll see exactly what's going to happen here because, of course, you know, Sivir versus Vayne, I mean, you're not going to have the wave clear available if you're Vayne, but I mean, I guess you've got a Janna there just to try and help you out, give you the extra AD as far as making these trades count in your favor are concerned. But look, we'll just have to get into the game and see exactly how this one's going to work out because, man, I'm looking forward to see how Endless makes his debut onto the Rift.
That's right. And he's got Marta as his support, so I think he's in safe hands to say the least.
He most certainly is. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, again, with a little bit of a zoom in as Endless has picked the Vayne into Uzi. It's terrifying stuff because you could imagine that Uzi probably has something to prove here at this stage of the game.
Judging by that grin, I would argue that he has a lot to prove coming into this game, particularly the laning phase.
Yeah, and OMG now also have to demonstrate the fact that making all of these changes is going to work in their favor as well. So, of course, no more going there in the top lane. Jiang is going to be playing now as well. So, lots of names removed here from the OMG lineup.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very interesting. I can see a lot of fan starts at the moment. Absolute respect for the opposition team. And Maokai looks like he's going to be starting those Raptors, get some free experience, and everything very standard thus far.
Yeah, no deep vision is going to be afforded here for either side. So Vici Gaming are going to easily be able to pick up this lane swap towards the top end. Endless and Marta moving up there. So Vayne going to have a free lane. And so that early game not going to be punished quite as hard as it could have otherwise been. Hatong now moving forward, trying to get some poison onto Cool, but some smooth footwork going to avoid a little bit of that harass.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult lane for the Azir to get through, especially once the level 2 Cassiopeia comes out. The threat of this poison right now is simply poke. Once the Twin Fangs are available, that poke becomes an all-in threat, and you need to show a lot of respect.
Yeah, and what do you think about Hatong's pickup here of the barrier as well? We often see a lot of ghosts to come down, making sure that the Cassiopeia has as much mobility as possible, but going for more of a defensive summoner choice.
Yeah, opting for the barrier opposed to the heal as well. It's a very selfish, but it gives a bit more shield, especially in the early levels. Shows that he's afraid of the burst that is capable from any of the members here of OMG. And we've got the Gragas, who's very capable of doing a lot of damage early. That shows a very big sign of respect for what Nunu can do as they start up a dragon.
Yeah, Juju, with a little bit of help here as well. The rest of Vici Gaming, though, going to head around and steal away this blue buff. Trading a blue buff here for a dragon, but OMG able to lock that one down very early. They may as well pick it up if they can, but it is going to put Juju behind just a little bit because, of course, you just don't get the same level of experience from focusing in the rest of your jungle. They are going to be able to lock that one down, and as you can see, no one is going to be of the wiser here on the side of Vici Gaming. So nice little play there from OMG, but Vici did manage to steal away the blue.
Yeah, Na taking a lot of time to get to his lane, only teleporting now, and the time that he has teleported, arguably the worst time in history.
Yeah, teleporting to that bottom lane has often been a very, very bad idea. As there's the headbutt pulverized. We're just going to check out some Uzi signage here as he picks up first blood as well. And we may as well check out the fans while first blood goes down, because of course they got it right. It was in fact Uzi's. Carrie, what was that teleport? That was ridiculous.
He took a little bit too long to teleport. They stayed for the blue buff, and he overstayed his welcome with the jungling with Dandy and getting some control of the opposition jungle. By the time that he'd actually teleported, he'd assumed it's safe. I think they were none the wiser of the dragon actually going down. And by normal timings, he was actually teleporting at the right time. Just not to be, as we actually don't have to look at an Uzi sign this time, and we do get to see how he goes down very convincingly, Uzi picking up the first blood.
Yeah, it looked almost all too easy there as Amazing just locks in on the Alistair combo, and everything goes A-OK. Endless doing his very best to try and freeze out this wave, and does have it frozen very, very far up. But of course, Maokai, not too bad in these 1v1 situations, can farm from range with those saplings, as you can see.
He has sacrificed himself a health pot in doing that freeze. He took a lot of damage from that. And Maokai, potentially in a position where he can be a threat to the Vayne now, is going to require a Janna eventually. Should be okay for the moment, But we'll see what happens once Maokai starts getting some levels about him.
Yeah, it's true. And Wave was pushed in here towards Endless, who does have a CS advantage, but of course the first blood going to be helping Uzi out a whole lot here as well, especially considering the fact that he is a Sivir, so wants to be able to pick up that ultimate, make sure that he's as team fight relevant as possible. And they're two very, very different champions. Of course, Vayne always looking for the 1v1, and Sivir always looking for the team fight.
Yeah, Sivir always looking to use the ult to be an enabler or a disengager, and it has a lot of different team fight presence. You said the Vayne wants to 1v1, occasionally wants to 1v5. A very aggressive champion that wants to be able to do as much damage as possible, whereas the Sivir wants to help the team out, has the spell shield available to prevent a lot of damage and just stay alive for as long as possible while doing consistent, sustained damage is the difference.
Yeah, Dandy actually going to find Juju here just a little bit, gets slowed down by the barrel, but does have a leveled advantage. Actually flashes over the wall here as Juju does follow him up. Man, I don't know whether Dandy really needed to do that.
He didn't need to flash, but he was also not aware whether he did or not, because the Azir was missing for quite a while. The pings were coming down in the mid lane, and the flash was a precaution to say, if the Azir is here, I could die. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, making sure that he loses a summoner spell instead of his life. That is definitely a good trade, but things are going to be working out here for OMG. No flash snowballs to come through. Of course, as far as the LPL is concerned, we love our flash snowballs.
That's the last thing I want to see if you were the side of Gragas right now, isn't it? Juju able to control his jungle, pushing the Nunu out. He's going to be quite alright now, and he's going to be able to get the levels even though the blue was stolen. Look to see the Gragas start to gank within a minute or two now that he's got some levels about him.
Yeah, you can see as well OMG deciding that they want to head back towards this bottom side of the map here as well. Uzi and Amazing knocking it opposite lane swap here to try and put pressure on the Vayne, just feeling like Xiang has enough pressure there in the top side.
He really has no jungle left. He just walked from his blue buff to his red buff, and there is nothing for him to pick right now. That is near depressing if you were the jungler of OMG.
Yeah, 12 CS to 19 here as well, as Dandy was able to pick up a Sightstone on his first back as well as those boots. As Dandy's actually going to get caught out. There's the exhaust as well, has no flash. Uzi picks up yet another kill, and this is exactly the OMG that we saw dominating the early stages of last split.
And it's who could it be on as a better person right now than Uzi? 2-0-0, equal CS almost to that of the Vayne, and Vayne has been split pushing the entire time, so doing so very well for himself. Going to be able to buy so much when he goes back.
Yeah, Carry actually trying to take it to him here, but Uzi's going to use the ultimate. Actually happy to face check on Carry here as well. Blows the heal, but we do have Meganar coming through very, very soon. Does manage to get it, but the wallop doesn't come down, and Uzi picks himself up his third kill of the game. Juju and Cool going to head down here as well. Oh, yeah.
That was massively confident. He even missed the boomerang and still wanted to go in, save the spell shield for as long as possible, and that was so well done by Uzi, baiting the fight with the Gnar. Knew he was out of position. The rest of the team of OMG just seamlessly walk down the bot lane and do as much damage as they can to at least ensure that the Gnar is going to die.
Yeah, the whole time though, Uzi did still have the flash available. I mean, he used the heal just to make sure that he didn't die, but that is another kill handed to Uzi on a silver platter. And the teleport was used as well by Carry.
Yeah, that is a lot of kills right now, and the teleport being used is going to be quite devastating for the Vici side right now. Maokai freely farming at the moment, still being kept up with though by the Gnar, which is quite good considering what has been happening to him from start to finish.
Yeah. Well, of course, Carry just played a little bit overly aggressively there on the bottom side of the map. He didn't have to suicide into Uzi, but just thought that he'd be able to pick up the 1v1.
Yeah, and that and the level 1, of course, has put him in a very rough position in terms of pressure being placed onto him. Whereas the Maokai has found himself quite comfortable sitting in that top lane, 1v1ing the Vayne, and not a whole lot of damage to speak of, not a lot of kill pressure between each other, as eventually the Vayne will start to get that kill pressure and start to ramp up and scale past that of the Maokai, and that's when you want to swap lanes back.
Yeah, and Endless, of course, does now have the Bilgewater Cutlass sitting on a dagger here as well as those boots, so he's getting towards that Blade of the Ruin King, which is buffed a little bit on this patch as well. The recurve bow adding a little bit of damage on hit. So Vayne definitely happy about that one as Cool's continuing to lay down the pressure onto Hatong. And we've seen this lane go multiple different ways. But at the moment, Cool definitely doing fine in a matchup that's you know, against a lane bully in Cassiopeia.
Yeah, the way I see this lane in particular is they do take down the dragon seemingly uncontested is you can look at the first item buy of what the Azir goes, and that's how you can determine how the lane is going from there. So if you rush the Fiendish Codex, you're not really afraid of taking damage and you are feeling quite confident in that lane. You want the CDR. If you get the CDR and there's no kill pressure, there's no purpose in buying the cooldown reduction. And you may as well go for some sustain, such as the Chalice or the other mana regen item that comes from the Morellos.
Yeah, of course, it's got a silly name.
I'm having a mind
blank. You've caught me off guard. Yeah. Man, that one's a tough one to remember. It's relatively new, okay, which is what I'm going to use for my defense as far as not remembering.
Fair enough.
Oh, the Forbidden Idol.
That's it.
Nailed it. Don't worry, guys.
Well
Brain's definitely been reattached. And we're going to be able to find something here as Jiang. He's picked up a Catalyst, Barmy Cinder, and of course, the Trailblazer now completed by Juju. Wants to be able to grab that Cinder Hulk as soon as possible. Couple of Ruby Crystals now available for Dandy, as he did fall down in his jungle there just a little bit. Vici Gaming still sort of in relative control of the game, but the bottom side of the map belongs to OMG, and they've just bled a whole lot of objectives as well. 2 dragons and, of course, the turrets as well. And man, this is not the Vici Gaming we were expected moving through here. And this is an OMG that is very, very different. And it seems like these swaps have really worked out in their favor.
Yeah, they almost feel extremely comfortable given how many swaps they've had, and they're looking to go in here.
Yeah, there's the headbutt pulverized there as well as Endless does pop. The ultimate final hour is down here as well as Juju. He's going to get flashed on. Endless picks up his first kill. Dandy somehow still alive here is amazing. The last Silver Bolt not going to go off. Cool finds his way into the fight after killing Dandy here as well as he's used the ultimate. Amazing now. Very, very low carry. Tries to stay safe. Hatong, one last auto attack. In fact, a sapling explodes in his face, and the snake is going to die here as well as Endless takes a few Sand Soldier hits and then backs away from that one. OMG definitely coming out ahead.
Yeah, finishing with a 1-for-3 trade right there in the favor of OMG, and they managed to pull that out. The initiation was there, just didn't go in their favor. The aggressive Vayne Flash is doing his best Uzi impersonation.
Yeah.
Manages to get a kill, gets the ball rolling for himself, but the rest of the team just start to crumble, and Pitong goes down.
Oh my goodness.
And the turret.
Yeah, Uzi dodges out of the way of that one here as well, but Dandy throws a snowball at him. Uzi's going to have to use the flash. Actually looks for the kill here on D'Amato, picks it up, 1v3, and then the shutdown bonus goes over to Endless. So probably still worth here for Vici Gaming because, of course, there's a whole lot of money stacked up on top of Uzi, but definitely making the most of a bad situation.
Yeah, exactly right. It did make the most of a bad situation. The mechanical, I'm not going to call it an outplay, but just strong mechanical play, securing a kill in a bad situation and making himself look like he was in an okay situation from what was horrible.
Yeah, well, it's exactly right. And knowing exactly what you can achieve given the cards that you're dealt, especially in that situation where things were just not going great, is to his credit as Uzi most definitely a star player here in China. He's just one of the best Chinese players to come out of this region. But one of the best players in general is Mata. He's going to get destroyed once more. OMG just preying on the bottom lane of Vici, or at least half of the bottom lane of Vici.
Absolutely,
Mata just can't get a ward down.
Commanding map presence from start to finish of this game right now. They are doing what needs to be done. 2 dragons, 8-2 in kills, 2-0 in turrets. And basically the side of Vici right now are just sitting there and farming and scratching their head saying, what do we do at the moment? And what they need to do is maybe group up once they get that next item spike. Once the Vayne finishes that Blade of the Ruined King, which is getting quite close to being completed, has the 2 kills and got the shutdown on Uzi, they need to utilize the spike in Vayne and either keep her split pushing and group as 4 elsewhere, just to stop the push that OMG are providing, as we're seeing right now. The Sivir doing her job perfectly, denying some minions before taking the turret. They need to use the Vayne strength that's about to come out.
Oh no, Endless actually using the Condemn on a minion here as Jiang uses the ultimate. Endless able to use the tumble quite nicely, but the turret is not your friend, good sir, and Endless is going to fall down for the first time here. Juju able to come in with that one, and man, the Condemn on the minion.
Very unfortunate, the Condemn on the minion. I don't think it was timed with the Twisted Advance, so just very unlucky, a mechanical error there.
Yeah, and Hatong actually going to get Emperor's Divided back here as Mato looking to put on some aggression onto Cool. There's the exhaust. The poison going to come down here at the same time as he actually turned around and Hatong picks up the kill with the ultimate. Dandy very, very low as Uzi picks up that kill. Mata shields himself up. Nice tornado to try and save himself. OMG are on the hunt though, and we'll see whether Mata is going to be okay. He does have the mobility boots, and Ajana is a very quick unit to chase. OMG not going to be able to get there.
Very quick unit to chase, not likely. And that was an amazing ultimate from Hatong before we talk about the rest of that fight right there. Just as the Azir turns around to put out a Sand Soldier, either to have some kind of turnaround. Has the cleanse available, by the way, so didn't actually use that. Opted to just die and save the cleanse for another day. And extremely good ultimate from the Cassiopeia. But at the same time, Dandy finds himself yet again caught in a bad spot between 3 members of OMG. And he goes down again. Uzi now 5-1.
Yeah. And this is their star carry, sitting on a more utility-based AD carry, but man, he's making it look like a hyper carry at this stage of the game, and almost has that Infinity Edge completed, most definitely has the money for it, but just wants to continue putting on a clinic as far as picking up this farm is concerned. You can see Amazing here hanging around Endless, who probably just shouldn't be in this lane at all.
No, he's got the Blade and the finished Boots 2 upgrade now, though, so he does have a lot of presence if need be. Maybe not against the Maokai, as we saw the 1v1 quite convincingly in favor of the Maokai. Does have some kind of presence about himself, but I wouldn't say his 1v2 strength just yet. Definitely not 1v1 with the Maokai yet, though.
Yeah, Zeal Infinity Edge was completed now by Uzi. Almost has the Static Shiv. Of course, only 600 gold in order to pick that one up. Endless going to be able to take down this pink ward here on the bottom side of the map as Cool's going to continue pushing. Of course, haven't really mentioned Cool that much, but did manage to pick up a few kills there in the last team fight towards the top side. And Vici just haven't really been able to find their in. Abyssal Scepter now completed by Hatong, so he's got his sort of first damage spike here on the Cassiopeia as Juju going to get tagged by the Boomerang.
You have to give some credit to Cool here, the unsung hero essentially of the mid lane right now, able to control the lane against the Cassiopeia. And when you've got a Nunu on your side and you're not able to control your mid lane, it really starts to hurt. And we've seen how much Dandy has been caught out of position, and there's no way for the Cassiopeia to rotate because the Azir has been doing so much work, wave clearing perfectly, able to trade 1v1. And they're going for the dragon here, Vici.
Yeah, Uzi's got the ultimate available here as well. Pops it now. Beautiful knock up. And look at these Vici members melt to the damage of OMG. Twisted advance onto Hatong. He's out of that fight as Carry does try to do the best that he can with the ultimate. But look at the Sand Soldiers now. Cool just doing all of the work. Endless turning it around. The Silver Bolt's not going to get it as a Twisted advance is going to save Xiang's life. Amazing does get condemned back, but Uzi not going to find the Boomerang just yet. The rest of OMG definitely going to collapse here as Amazing finds his way in. Endless able to actually possibly get a kill back, but no. Uzi's got a little bit too much damage, and that is going to be the clean ace for 1 here for OMG.
And that fight was on the back of a perfect initiation from the Alistar right there, hitting that headbutt pulverized combo on 3 members, followed up by the Gragas body slam, and they're going to be able to secure the dragon here, and that fight just went superbly.
It did. Like, this is about an 11,000 gold lead at 18 minutes into the game as well. This is a shutout by OMG.
Yeah, the initiation from the Alistar with the Sivir ultimate, so perfect. Followed by that body slam. Even the dragon's doing some work, and the Sivir throws out the Boomerang. The Cassiopeia does hit the ult. The Gnar comes in as Mega. They do a lot of work, but so much damage has been put onto the side of Vici Gaming here that it really does start to hurt them. That Emperor's Divide absolutely shredding the Vayne and any chance of that teamfight going back in their favor. And the rest of this fight right now is just them chasing down the other 2 members.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. And I mean, Uzi, he had so many items there that, I mean, if he wasn't that fed, maybe Hatong in that 1v1 that we saw sort of towards the top end may have gone in a different direction. But considering Uzi's start to this game, he was able to run that one over. And Cassiopeia, yet again, just not quite having the presence in this game that she can definitely have.
Yeah, it's quite hit or miss. Cassiopeia very hard to have a presence with when it feels like the rest of your team is losing. And they are 100% losing right now with a 9.5k gold lead in favor of OMG. Uzi massive. And it's going to be so hard for the Cassiopeia to walk past the tank line of OMG, get into the back line, and actually do damage on the champions that can take damage.
Yeah, and Uzi's Sivir just... It's confusing how incredibly good it is. Considering the fact that he's just this fantastic sort of mechanical player, and Sivir not necessarily the most mechanically intensive champion, but his positioning in these fights, his ability to know exactly how much damage he's capable of on this champion is amazing. And he's sitting on like 8 1-on-1.
Yeah, he just feels really confident. You can tell in the way that he plays, in every decision he makes. He knows the capabilities of Sivir, and irrespective of the amount that a Sivir can carry, if you're 8-1, even when he was 3-0, if you're an AD carry and you build damage items, you're going to be able to carry that game. And
yeah.
Not just relevant for his ultimate at the moment, is Sivir absolutely shredding the side of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, and really able to push out these waves as well. You can see Uzi hanging out towards his bottom side. It is going to be Endless, able to sort of pick up some farm down there, but not going to be able to put on any pressure because, of course, I mean, all of their wave clear is Hatong.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's true, yeah. They don't have a whole lot of wave clear right now. They've picked up the Vayne as the AD choice. They've got Gnar, which doesn't provide a lot unless it's Mega Gnar. And in that case, you're not really going to be in a position to take a Mega Gnar in the face of your OMG. Their wave clear is waning. It's not that great. And then you look at the side of OMG, they've got absolutely the best wave clear in the game between an Azir with a Luden's Echo or what's going to be a Death Cap from the looks of it, and then you've got a Static Shift Sivir.
Yeah, Carry looking to try and get something done here, but he has no Narbar, just gets bounced around, tries to get out of there. Dandy with a nice ultimate zero, actually able to do a whole lot of work there, but Endless just gets obliterated. Uzi finds his way into the fight. That exhaust, not quite enough here, and Hatong, yeah, that is 3 members of the enemy team, and you are super dead. That is 3 kills for 1 in favor of OMG, and they're just too far ahead at this stage.
And that fight didn't really even have Uzi whatsoever. It was almost entirely on the back of the tank line and Cool right there. The amount of damage that Azir is doing is obnoxious at the moment, and the front line, the tanks of OMG are just so big. It takes so long for them to die, and they instantly destroyed that Gnar, who teleported with no Narbar. Absolutely wrecked.
Yeah, it was a very interesting decision, to say the least.
Yes.
Heading in on that one. But 2-0 and 11 now as his lane opponent. This is Jiang's sort of debut into the top lane here into the LPL. And Jiang just looks like to be proving himself one of the most versatile pro players that I've seen thus far.
He certainly does. And then definitely the same with Amazing as well, coming into this game. First time up into the LPL side here. And 0-0-16 is phenomenal work as well.
That is a massive kill participation here for the debut here of Amazing as the support. And his Headbutt Pulverizers have been unbelievable. So incredibly good.
Yeah, his initiations for the team of OMG have been absolutely perfect. And he's doing exactly what needs to be done. They got their AD carry fed. They've translated that into team fighting. Everything is just going so well for this OMG side right now.
Yeah, and I'm actually a little bit baffled, to be honest, because I was not expecting OMG to come out of the gates this incredibly strong, because this is a lineup that hasn't yet been tested. But seeing Uzi first grinning on the desk, that is a big deal. Yes. But then also having so much cohesion and this team really working so well together behind Uzi as well, who's playing fantastically. That's what we were expecting out of OMG with this player on the lineup.
Well, Uzi having a grin is a sign of confidence, to say the least.
Yeah.
That means he's confident in what his team is capable of, and we're seeing the absolutely perfect representation of that right now.
Whoa, that's a bit of a whiff. And that is going to be the steal from Dandy, and then gets the free ride out. Carry finds his way into the Baron Pit, gives OMG a bit of a consolation prize, but Dandy stealing that one away. Endless, he's going to get slowed down. The Condemn onto Juju there, but Uzi, he wants to find the kill. Fleet of Foot is going to wear off, and Tumble is going to help Endless get away. Boomerang doesn't find him, and OMG, they get a kill, and the second one, as Hatong is just going to get caught out of nowhere, no man's land.
Yeah, let's just say that he was definitely dead before that freeze there. As we can see Vayne actually being saved by the Janna passive. So lucky, like, managing to have the tumble back available, a nice Condemn, consolidating the losses. They did steal the Baron. So well done there from Dandy, able to secure the Baron, and then they just tried to live. As many people as possible just tried to run away and stay alive. Keep that Baron buff on you, maybe able to quell the pushing that's coming out from OMG. And as I say that, they do secure a top turret and a dragon.
Yeah, so that is the entire outer ring of turrets down. Inhibitor is still dead. ladies and gentlemen. So OMG, 7 turrets to nothing, 4 dragons to nothing, and Vici have a Baron.
This is an amazing game from OMG right now. It's almost perfect from start.
Yeah, if they hadn't had that Baron stolen, then it would have been very, very close.
Yeah, that's the almost, I believe, at this stage. The only hiccup, I think, in this entire game thus far, they've got all of the dragons, all of the turrets. It's just the fact that Vici Gaming have 0 of both of those stats, which is the most impressive part.
Yeah, well, exactly. They haven't been able to put any pressure on this map whatsoever. And is that a drafting fault? Is that their issue, or is it the fact that sort of they just have been outskilled in every way? Like, what is going on?
The biggest drafting fault only is that when they got behind, that they stayed behind. They've got the Vayne Cassiopeia, both lanes debatably not going to win their lane because Cool just played it exceptionally well, able to beat the Cassiopeian lane. You've got the Nunu jungle who relies on control, and your team's not in control. So from there on out, it just gets harder and harder to be able to translate that into objective control, into map control whatsoever. The rest of OMG, as they're sieging right now, is able to bully them out and pick off kills left, right, and center.
Oh, Carry looking to try and get aggressive here, but On the Hunt gets popped. There's the Gnar. Carry just gets exploded, though, as Dandy. There's the absolute 0, but it's not going to find too much. Uzi picks up his first kill. They're looking to try and grab another one, but he's dead at this stage. Endless. He's going to get destroyed as well. The rest of OMG, what you have to worry about is Cool. He's got some stupid items at this part of the game. The inhibitor, the second one, is going to fall down in this bottom lane. And man, there's so much focus onto Uzi that people have forgotten the fact that Cool has a Luden's Echo death cap.
Yeah, he has a lot of items right now, is Cool. He's doing so much damage and so much work for his team that, you said it, they look at Uzi as the sole carry of this team. They look to kill him straight off the bat, get him out of the equation. They forget that Cool exists, and that's ridiculous.
Goodness. There's another soldier down. Cool's going to pick up another kill. That's the flash forward. Hatong uses the Seraphs, though, and is able to lock down that kill. But, man, whew, Cool is doing stuff that he was doing early on in last season.
And we were questioning the barrier pickup here for Hatong, but it has actually worked in his favor in this instance. A lot of damage right there from Cool, destroying the Janna. Unfortunately for him, not able to kill the Cassiopeia, who has an abundance of shields readily available, able to counter that and get a trade 1-for-1. But
I think he needed both Seraphs and Barrier at this stage.
And that's like 1,000-odd shield in itself, so that's a very big amount of damage that you need to respect from Cool. And that plays perfectly into what we were saying. The amount of damage that Cool is doing needs to be respected. You cannot just kill Uzi, and you cannot just expect to win a team fight if Uzi is down. It's going to be so hard for them to find an opening back into this game.
Yeah, and they're going to need a whole lot of mistakes from OMG. They're going to have OMG sort of not realize that they can take down turrets, as Vici are now trying to look for a pick here. Maokai did get wind of it a little bit earlier on. Of course, they still do have a fair bit of sort of late game damage scaling, but are they going to be able to get it off with the likes of Cool sitting on so much CC potential? That Emperor's Divide is fantastic against these champions that want to skip around these team fights.
They definitely have a lot of late game scaling and a lot of late game damage. They do a lot of work if they can get to that stage, but given the gold differential right now, the difference between them is just so high that even the tanks of OMG are going to be near impossible to get rid of.
Yeah.
There's just such a large difference between the two teams that it's going to be very, very unlikely for them to scale too far into this game, and Endless not going to have much of an impact besides condemns.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of impact as we saw Juju just faceplant that wall. That was adorable. The inhibitor is going to fall down as OMG barely need to do anything. Righteous Glory actually popped here from Amazing, but decides not to go overly aggressive as OMG just going to move towards the top side, just trying to systematically remove every single structure that Vici ever held dear. The last remaining inhibitor going to fall down here on the top side of the map is Amazing. Now getting himself into position. There's the explosive cast. Dandy actually getting pulled out here. As Hatong is going to move away from that Sand Soldier. OMG just going to take every single structure in the base apart from the Nexus turrets and move out. No, they're not. There's the engage. Marta was there for a sec, then just gets obliterated. Endless going to die as well. The Gnar from Carry as Uzi tries to deal with him, but he's not going to be too worried about it as the boomerang comes down. And OMG whitewashed the fight and now the game. 58,000 gold to 41. And man, this is a brand new OMG, and I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
You said a brand new OMG, but they're the same as they were before when it comes to strength. The exact same strength as it was in the start of the spring split, methodically dismantling the team of Vici Gaming right here and managing to get a convincing, to say the least, victory.
Yeah, and that's the man right there. That is cool, and he played that game so beautifully well. Uzi picks up all of the early kills, and then Cool slowly farms out his lane. Of course, he's on a Zir. This isn't the assassin.